What is up, guys? Welcome back to Desk Mount Therapy, the Posture Project. Do you have lower back pain while you work at your desk? Today I'm going to teach you how to stretch and release your psoas permanently. If you don't know what the psoas is, it's one of the hip flexors attaching from our vertebral column through the front of the hip. It's often one of the culprits for spasms, lower back pain, and one of the main causes for anterior pelvic tilt. So people who stick their bum out all day, they feel like they're stuck and they really can't pull it forward. No matter what you do, psoas is often the culprit. A lot of people, show a bunch of different ways on how to really release and stretch this muscle, but I'm going to show you the most effective way that we can get to the psoas. So in order to really stretch it and lengthen it, I first want you guys to understand the anatomy. So I want you to find the side of your hip bone here, the part where you can kind of wrap your finger around. And then you're going to find your belly button. To locate the psoas, we're going to come approximately in the middle. So for the first one, you're going to take a lacrosse ball here, and as we come on your stomach, as you lie down, we're going to place it there. So I'm going to explain that now as you come with me. So lying down onto our stomach here, again, finding those two spots we located, you're going to place the ball in the middle, and slowly come down, applying the pressure through that. Now, depending on how sore you are, I'm offloading some weight through my forearms. So first you're starting to let that ball sink in, but if you find it's uncomfortable, you can reposition it a little bit, or I can use something lighter like a tennis ball. Now to check if we're in the right spot, remember to exhale and just extend my hips. So I'm just lifting my leg up here. And as you do that, you should feel the muscle kind of push back into the lacrosse ball. We're going to do that 10-15 times. We want to make sure we're relaxing to the ball enough that we can get through the abs and the core muscles. So I just moved it a bit lower and I'm feeling that a lot better. So again, we're just playing around where the ball is. And as you lift up, you should feel that muscle contract into the ball. So I'm extending my hip because we want to lengthen through the psoas, which is a hip flexor muscle. So I'm extending my hip, extending my glute, really working through just like that. This is a really great way. You just have to be careful the ball doesn't roll around too much. So if you're really sensitive and sore in the front, even just hanging out, just sitting there, placing the ball in the middle. And the next variation, some people find a bit easier. Same thing, we're going to come onto our back this time, but we're going to use the kettlebell to apply the pressure. For those of you whose back pain is so sensitive, you don't like being on your stomach. So I'm going to again put the ball in between the side of my hip and approximately in the middle between my belly button. I'm going to take the kettlebell. Again, it doesn't need to be too heavy here. I'm breathing. Slowly letting that knee come in and out. And you should feel that muscle slowly relaxing and releasing. And the cool thing is I can actually roll the ball too onto the kettlebell as I'm here. You can even count the most effective way. I'm pinning down that psoas. Slowly lengthening my leg, coming up and down. And this is a really great way because as we're actually lengthening through the leg, I can feel that muscle releasing and relaxing. Once we're at the end here, take a few breaths. Sweat that sinking in. But again, it doesn't need to be anything too heavy. We don't want to be causing any pain or discomfort. So this is just a 20 pounder here. I would try to use a 10 or 15 or 20. And if it's too much as well, I'm applying a little bit of pressure through my hands to pull the kettlebell away, just to make sure we're comfortable here. I generally recommend 1 to 2 minutes per side. Now we want to make sure that we're not just releasing the muscle, but we're spending some time to stretch and lengthen the psoas. So a lot of people who do have tight psoas and hip flexors and are stuck in that anterior pelvic tilt will do a lot of these hip flexor stretches, but their pelvis is in the wrong position and you're not getting anywhere. So if you're here thinking you're stretching your hip flexor, but you're sticking your bum back, you're just going to be reinforcing incorrect posture. So what I want you to do, see an easier way to get that pelvic tilt is we're going to take a block or a pillow, stack of books, whatever you got, place your opposite foot on top. Now what this is going to do, it's going to unlock a lot of more freedom through the pelvis. So I want you to take your hands on the side of these hip bones here. I want you to exhale and roll your pelvis underneath. till your lower back becomes flat. We're then going to take our hands onto the top of the bung here. Again, positioning the knee where it's comfortable, making sure it's in line with the hip. And we're going to gently push myself forward here. Should feel a nice stretch through the front of the hip. Once you feel that, we're going to inhale, lift up through the arms. As you take a big breath in, lengthening through the side of the spinal column here. Taking 3 breaths. And exhale, each inhale lengthening a bit further. So again, because the psoas is attached to the spinal column, if we want to fully lengthen and stretch through it, we have to get a breathing and length through the spine. So again, I'm here. Pelvis is tucked, core is nice and tight. And you should feel the stretch all the way up through the front of the hip, through the side of your oblique here, if you're doing it properly. So again, I would hold this for 3 to 4 rounds of 30 to 45 seconds for the best results, making sure you're doing both sides. Then when we get up and we're done in that stretch, I just want you to feel kind of how your back is sitting, notice how your pelvis is tilted, and just being aware of the changes in the body. This isn't something that's going to change drastically overnight, but if you really want to release that psoas, you got to get in the habit stretching the hip flexors properly and working on controlling that pelvic tilt a lot better. So I hope this helps with your back pain. We're going to have a lot more back pain resources and tutorials down the road. We're going to talk about how to strengthen the hip flexors as well, because it's often a really big piece a lot of desk-bound professionals are missing is we're stretching and releasing. But we also want to strengthen that muscle so it has more capacity, it's more adaptable to different movements, and more comfortable sitting all day long. Because, when we're sitting all day, all of our stuff is going to get tight again. So we want to make sure that we have enough work through the stretching and the releasing, but also strengthening our muscles so we're fully supporting our body's pursuit of optimal posture and mechanics. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, comment below if you have any questions or ideas for future videos. Don't forget to download my free beginner desk stretch routine at the link down below. You'll get a free 5-day email series on different things you can do to improve your ergonomics, your posture, and your flexibility. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember, posture is everything.